high. When it's 50 degrees in your office and somewhere just below 100 outside and it's super humid, this is what you have to resort to keep your camera from dripping water. So I'm trying to use this heater right here to warm up my camera and lens. I just got rained out of a football game, so I'm free for the night unexpectedly. And I had a few thoughts, of course, about last week's entry, in that I talked about gear, and I had basically a gear review. But at the end of the day, however, I've gotten to where I realize how harmful or pointless it is, and how what you do with the camera matters so much more. So I want to go through this in a holistic and historic way. I think I have something different to offer gear reviews, even though we're not going to do that this week. I shot almost every single picture I took for nearly 2 to 3 years. I took at f8 or around f8, and there's a whole story behind it. But I'm going to cut to myself as you look at 2 bodies of work I did specifically. And I'm going to get to a nicer camera, I'm going to get inside out of the rain, and I'll see you over there. Trying to transition. So here are several photographs from a self-portrait series I made about 3 or so years ago that helped convince me that this gear madness, and especially the f.1 and be there thing, are not really productive things. These self-portraits were shot, I think, entirely on a Fuji X-T1 with a couple of random Fuji X lenses, and I really enjoyed this combination, especially the Fuji remote control, which allows you to remotely do live view, which is how I did many of these. Anyway, one of the things I noticed while doing this is this was a, I think, 16 megapixel camera, and I made very large prints of all of these, and for the most part the large prints looked very good. There was, you know, when I went extreme there was a little degradation or something, but we're talking like 40-inch prints here. These held up perfectly fine to so many, and honestly I love the Fuji X cameras. The quality is just out of this world. You can see these blades of grass. And here you'll see the continuation of my experiments. And one of the things that helped me with this series is that I shot everything at f5.6 or f8, and that helped me get a deeper depth of field, and also helped me mostly stay within the sharpest range of the lenses I was using. So it was a double whammy, and helped me not rely on autofocus, which was very helpful for the series, which I shot on a Hasselblad with a CFE 50C digital back, and it was really hard to focus with that and that medium format sensor. But I began, as a matter of practicality, shooting these on f8, but I realized that I was kind of sick, and I had mentioned this to people too. I was pretty sick of shooting and everything being shot at like f1.2. It can be very unimaginative. It's not challenging. I think incorporating the background and background elements is incredibly important. And maybe it's more of a painting thing, and maybe I'm heading more away from that into photography and cinematography, camera arts. Which is why I'm adding a little bit more depth of field, as you'll see in a minute. Or a little less depth of field, I should say. I really like how it challenged me and pushed me to think of everything, and I had to shoot everything on a tripod. I had to, as Ansel Adams would say, preconceive these scenes, because if these people overlap the wrong areas, they would be lost in the information. I did a lot of what's known as chiaroscuro, like a mixture of lights and darks, and I thought heavily about that. And I think now that I'm drifting more into sane territory, not shooting literally everything as deep as I could get, I find it helpful and informative, and of note. I need to say that the reason I didn't shoot like at f/22 or whatever wasn't because of diffraction, but it was mostly because my flashes aren't that powerful, and f/8 wound up being just the great compromise between my ability of my flashes, my available light, my ability to focus the camera, and so on. It just looked very clean and crisp. And I have been shooting some with these old junk lenses and stuff, and looking at these I can see this extreme detail, but I got to the point where I'm like, is this detail going to help me? What's the end, it means to an end here? I like kind of feeling a little bleary-eyed, a little bit rough around the edges, so now I'm trying to find my place between this extreme sharpness and clarity and the fuzzy wuzzy world of the shallow depth of field. Also, I have a few photographs up at A&E Garden and Gallery and Gifts in Kilgore, Texas. Go check them out now if you want to. And this week I am putting up my show, and I made a poster and a Facebook event, and I'll have a link to that in the description, and you should check it out. Also, I don't think it's too early to get into the spirit of Halloween. Jeffrey, oh my god, I haven't seen you in ages. You look simply divine. Look at this expression. You can narrate a million things for that.
He's done. He's just done. Oh, cute.
Aww. We're here at this cool Art Deco something. I don't know what it used to be, but it's a body shop now. Trying to avoid showing the address. Yeah.
Department store windows.
That makes sense. Yes. Hey, you're almost in that same post. No. Perfect. I'm not making you look like a trollop, am I?
I don't care.
Okay. Make it hard to take pictures. We got this.
This will just be another.
Oh yeah, that's a prop.
I'm advertising your flash. More adventures of me holding expensive things.
There's a channel. There's an audience for it, I'm sure. Okay.
Do I want that audience?
Good question. Hopefully I got enough B-roll. Cloudy skies. It was cloudy. Power lines. B-roll. East Texas. East Texas B-roll. Birch streets and power lines. So a little bit of a quick editing session here. I began by choosing the color profiles in Lightroom. I'm not super experienced with color profiles, but I'm liking the Fuji ones. I usually find one that's just the right balance between in kind of a flatter profile of lights and darks, contrast, value, that's the word, and one that has rich colors but maybe not overly rich, because I wind up, as you'll see, changing the colors as I go. Here I'm just doing some dodge and burn and trying to get things to work out, and do a little vignetting to draw attention to the face. And I was pleased with the white balance. You just didn't see, but that's something you should always mess with first and keep track with as you adjust the color. And here you'll see that I am playing with the saturation and luminance of the yellows and oranges, and it helps me I think make the wig look more natural. And I'm just continuing to darken clouds and work to draw attention to places I want to and add drama, and there's a lot of that. And you'll also see me just a little background first before I go too far, is that this is overcast and I used the flash, and you'll see where I'm messing with the shadow color, making it kind of greenish, and enhancing to me the storm aspect of it. You feel like it could be raining at any minute, and it was pretty sketchy. I was a little bit worried we were going to get rained on, but nothing really happened like that. And I did a little bit of other editing, and here's a rough edit. I have so much stuff to finish, but I wanted to show you this one. And there you go. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like this video, and I will see you on Thursday.